Hey, what's up? You know what it is. Passive Money Podcast. I'm Kirby. This is Alex. Today we're talking about business ownership and what that look like and what's the best avenues to accomplish your goal being a business owner. With all that being said, Alex, take it away.
I think starting a business can be taken in different ways, especially in today's society where we have the internet. There's people that have online businesses. I've got a friend who has very successful online businesses. And then there's other people where they may not completely understand the concept of what a actual business is, licensing and making sure that it's in a separate entity and structured correctly, and you're actually running it and managing it like it's a business, cash flowing business. A lot of people will say, that their side hustle is a business, right? And that gets into a tricky category because a lot of side hustles I see aren't even structured as a business. They just call it a business because it's something that they're making money from outside of their day job. Um,
Mhm.
I personally know some people that do that. Family as well. Um, and then then there's people that want to set up an actual business, or investors that buy a business, like in your case. Um, so can you talk on a little bit on your end, the investor aspect of purchasing a business rather than like I like what you talk about where you actually say it's easier to buy revenue than it is to create revenue. And I think that's
And yeah, that's a correct statement. Buying revenue is a lot easier, and let's just frame it with something small, and then people can extrapolate and go out further from there.
right.
It's it's way easier. So let's just use something like a salon. I mean, I own a barbershop, but let's just use something like a salon. Uh, if let's say we'll use your wife as an example. Let's say your wife, she's good at doing hair. Everybody's telling her she needs to open up her own salon, yada yada yada. And then you go out and she feeds you the ideal and you go out. If you go out and find a strip mall or find somewhere to, find a blank slate to, buy to rent the real estate or rent the space out
Right.
and then spend money, tens of thousands of dollars to build it out, chairs, mirrors, all the acoustics that goes good with the salon. So now you have an employee of one. You're already heavily capital intensive paying for that. And day one that the business start, you have zero revenue.
Right.
And then now you have to spend money for advertising. You have to spend money to hire other beauticians inside the salon, yada, 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 and everything else, utilities, all that stuff. All that is capital expenditures that you have to spend to get the business operational. And that's just from day one. So instead, and then of course you're paying the exorbitant, commercial fees.
Right.
So the way around it, like you said, it's easier to buy revenue than to create revenue. So in the inverse of that, so let's say if you went from ground up to build out the business the way that you and your wife wanted to make it look how you want it costs you $200,000.
Right.
That $200,000 out of your pocket with not one single penny of revenue day one when the business starts. So the alternative to that is why not, instead of creating, because there's salons, nail shops, and all that stuff all over the place. The alternative to that is why not go look on an online website. It's plenty out there. I'm not going to name drop because they ain't paying me for that. But it's plenty of online websites that show you, and I've shown you plenty of times where businesses are for sale. You buy one of those businesses, so you're just not saturating the market with another salon. You buy a salon that's already operational. Usually, you will get a way, way, way better deal buying the salon that's already operational than it is for you to create the salon. So let's say instead of 200,000 to create from ground up, you spend $100,000 for a salon. The salon will already have employees. It will already have the chairs, the mirrors, and some acoustics. It may not look like how you want it, but the key there is you will already be receiving revenue because the business is already operational, excuse me. So you will already have clients, you will already have, different things, but revenue was already coming in. And then what you do, just like we talk about with buying a house, building versus buying and changing stuff around. And then you slowly but surely readjust the business to how you want it to run. Either, upgrading the chairs slowly but surely, upgrading the core advertising. But now instead of going totally out of your pocket because you have no revenue coming in, you already have some revenue. Maybe it's not your plateau where you want to be, but you already have some revenue coming in that you can use that revenue to spend on doing those things that we talked about. And that's why it's way cheaper than going straight from the ground up area. Only thing you're looking at as a, potential business owner when you're going to buy another business is the location. Of course, you want to run the numbers, do your due diligence to make sure that everything is running correctly, or close to correctly, because you're going to step in and then you're going to run it how you want to run it. But, make sure it has, employees that's going to generate revenue, things of that nature. Check the financials, always check the financials 30, 40, 50 times if you have to. Check the financials to make sure you're not paying an elevated price. Check the, lease agreements and stuff like that, and make sure that it falls within your realm of capability as a business. But the key there is you're buying revenue that's already coming in instead of creating it from scratch. And it will save you a lot of money in the short term and in the long term, because if you're taking over a business in a high traffic area and you get to select, when you're buying revenue, you get to select the area that you want to be in. So it's businesses up for sale and you're just looking to see what area you want to be in. If you create a business, you're looking for an open spot where somebody has a empty space for you to start creating that idea. And that space could be, because it's very small in nature, it could be in a spot that's less populated. Remember, it's already salons, nail salons, and all this stuff already around. So you add another one, you just more saturate the market instead of buying up the market that's there and dominating what you know how to do. And that's execution. And then you can just execute from there.
Yeah, so I love this topic because I know we've talked about this before, and it's so interesting, speaking with people that either want to start a business or think that they do have a business, but they don't understand what a business really is or how it should operate. When you can change your mentality on a business just being something outside of your day job, producing extra income from you, to, okay, actually running the facts on, okay, how can you get your business operational without you there? Then it's a whole different chain, like it's a whole different game for it. If you're going to be an owner or an investor, or not even an investor, just an owner, and whether you're an owner by being an investor or an owner by starting it up, how can you be profitable without having to be there? And that's the key. And especially with salons, in your case, it worked out for you because you bought the barbershop, bought the revenue, and an active business, and then on top of that, bought the real estate, so you can control that aspect a little bit more. But a lot of people think that business is just like they don't separate the idea of a business from them having to work there. Like they think the business requires them to be there, and that's like Robert Kiyosaki might talk about this with the difference between a small business owner and a big business owner, and self-employed versus owning a company. And that's just the mentality shift.
Yeah, and it's most small business owners, they own a job. And
Right.
that's what people look at it as. And that's not the purpose of being in business. If you can't step away from your business and it run by itself, then you own a job. That's simply put, the revenue that they're bringing in should exceed everything: gas, phone, water, credit card machine, or OPS machine, or whatever it's called. And it should exceed all of that. And then on top of it, you should be making a profit as an owner. Yes, in my situation, it's a little different because, I own the business and I own the asset of the building that it's in, so I can control expenses. But no matter what business it is, if you own a business, the business should make a profit without you being there. And then it's just icing on the cake for your personal family of what you can make after that.
Right.
And again, it's all about timing and things like that, but it's all about operating at a high frequency. As far as you're advertising well as the owner, you're advertising well, you're getting people where they need to be, you're driving revenue for your employees. Just because you say you're a business owner, and that's what I find a lot of people, they're enamored with the name of saying business owner, but they're not enamored with the making money part of a business owner. As a business owner, you're driving revenue for you and your personal family from every aspect that you can. It's not a it's not a democracy, and the reason why I'm saying it's not a democracy is because if that business goes to crap, it's only one person on the hook for it, and that's the business owner.
Right.
So the business owner is taking all the risks, so the business owner should receive and reap the biggest reward. The owners of McDonald's ain't sitting there flipping fries saying, "Oh well, I just own a business because I'm just happy everybody got a job, and whatever I make from my hourly salary, that's what money I take home to my family." If they decide to actually go in there and flip fries, God help them. But they make money off of the operation of the business, and then if they decide to work, then it's extra money on top of that. But that's all dictated by them. But the key is they decided to take the risk, so they should receive the biggest reward from taking that risk. And a lot of people won't take that risk. A lot of people just want to be the employee. So employees should stay employees, and business owners should stay business owners and receive the reward from it.
Right. And that's absolutely correct. I mean, there a lot of you'll hear a lot of complaints of, the business owner is the bad person or whatever, but no one really steps back and thinks of all the risks that that owner took, coming down to, some people even coming out of their personal expenses just to get a business started, hoping, with their diligence and their work and high frequency work ethic, as you said, they can get something operational and then create something profitable for them to last them a lifetime. The people under them just think in the idea of, well, it's not fair to me, they're making more money or something like that. But no one really factors in all those risks that go into play when someone's owning a business.
Yeah, and like the video when we talked to Charles Kirby, he left. He took the risk of leaving his hometown with a van full of kids and some equipment and traveled to Virginia. He took all the risk.
Right.
So any employee that worked for him, they shouldn't be sitting there saying, "Oh, I should be making the same money as you do because we're doing the same work." But you didn't take on the same risk. The
Exactly.
people that take risks are the people that's going to get the reward if it works out. Because those same people that's taking the risk, if it doesn't work out, the employees get to go and find another job. The owner had to sit there and count up all their debt and pay back uh, debtors and uh, credit collectors and things like that. Debt collectors, that's the name I was looking for. Debt collectors and things like that. That's the name of the game. So understand where you're at. When you choose to be in the game as a business owner, be a business owner. If you choose to be an employee, be an employee. But employees shouldn't be counting the owner's pocket. But as an owner, you can count whatever pocket you want because you're taking all the risk. Yeah, that's all I got on that subject.
Yeah, and it goes the same for, like, if even if you're not owning a business, but you're buying assets or you're investing, just like in Jonathan's case. I mean, if he hasn't got it yet, I'm sure it'll come soon because I already get it where, people will say, you don't work as much, I work harder than you, and maybe make more money, it's not fair, or something like that. And if you look in, say Jonathan's case where people, if he hasn't met these people yet, like I said, they'll probably think the same thing if he took the risk of,
Wait, we talking about Jonathan, but nobody knows who Jonathan is.
like, guys, the army guy. I'm sorry about that for confusing all of you. Yeah. The army guy in our most recent interview. He took the risk of taking out a large amount of debt from his house, and yes, he creates an income that's relatively easy, that doesn't take a lot of time or a lot of work or labor to produce income from, but the risk is all there. He's putting his family on the line, in a sense, to set his family up for a better life in the future. And he's managing all that risk, and all props to him. If you're going to take on that risk and risk your money that worked for, or someone else's money, even if you're managing that risk to create yourself income or passive income, then you know that all props to you for for doing that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. With that being said, everybody, that's our insight on being a business owner, letting you know. What was you doing?
Subscribe. Trying to point to all the
Oh,
subscribe buttons, but my finger won't
oh
go
God.
over.
But yeah, but that's our insight. You see Alex over there doing the Macarena dance. But that's our insight on being a business owner. Understand where it's at. If you're owner, you're owner. You're an employee, you're an employee. Also, always remember, it's easier to buy revenue than create revenue. That's why me, when I buy businesses or buy rental property, uh, there's always a tenant in there or a tenant in there, or the business is already operational because I want to buy the revenue. That's the only thing I'm buying. And when you create a business, the only thing you want is the revenue to come in and turn that revenue into profit. But I'm buying the revenue to make it profitable. So that's what your goal should be all day, every day, is you're buying the revenue. The ideal of just saying, oh, I want to be a business owner, that's great, that looks good, that sounds good. But at the end of the day, it's all about the financials. It's all about generating revenue, keeping your margins high, and then making your gross and net profits higher. And that right there is what leads to a successful business. And then successful business, as you grow and get bigger, you can pass off your responsibilities to other people and still create the same revenue and the profit and the take home pay. And that's how you create passive income. With that being said, y'all have a good one. We'll see you on the next video.